Let us now discuss Nepal and US relations, bilateral relations. And as I think we already have mentioned that United States of America is the second country after UK with which Nepal entered into formal diplomatic relations. And though they entered into diplomatic relations in 1947 itself, but when they open their embassies in each other's nation, that took almost a decade, because it was only in 1958 that Nepal established its embassy in Washington DC, and American embassy in Kathmandu was opened in 1959. So this is very crucial. See, though they were eager to enter into relations immediately when Britishers were leaving this region, that is in 1947, but nothing much happened. Why? Because if you just keep into mind that in the initial layers, uh, Americans were more focused on other parts. They were trying to consolidate their position in Europe, as we all know, when we talk about the Berlin crisis, what was happening in Germany, and then we know all those issues concerning whether it was Hungarian Revolution or certain that type of things. We know they were quite preoccupied, and then we know Korean War. So major things were happening around the world, and their focus was in the Gulf area. They were there in Southeast Asia, in Pacific region, in Europe, but where they were not that much active, it was South Asia. This region was not attracting much attention of American foreign policy think tanks. If you just go into the archives, if you just do even casual, not in depth research, even routine research, this thing become more clear that this region was not being paid much attention by the American foreign policy circle uh, in comparison to the other regions of Asia or Europe. So one thing is there. Then why there was sudden interest in 58, 59? Keep into mind again, just apply your mind on the system level analysis, what was happening around the world, what others were doing, and definitely again keep into mind that Cold War was there, that Soviets and communist China, they were, even now they were quite close. And then what happened immediately during these years was the annexation of Tibet by People's Republic of China. Now this was very crucial for these two countries. As far as United States was concerned, for them it was another challenge, because ally of their opponent was indulging into expansionist policies in certain region, and that was enough to compel the other superpower, that is United States of America, to make its presence felt in the periphery. That was natural reaction if you just understand what was happening. And on the part of this tiny kingdom Nepal, what was how this impacted, how this influenced them. See, for Nepal, the annexation of Tibet was threatening enough, and it was cause of much insecurity. Now two things were there. At the one, on the one hand, what they were seeing. See, China that was across Tibet, now that China was their immediate neighbor. This was a big change in the security perception of Nepal. If you just keep into mind this one change, and because of that, now China became immediate neighbor. So they were supposed to have really good relations with China, because they just can't match China. But at the same time, if China has annexed Tibet, that is a cause of concern, and that concerns naturally uh, mm, compel Nepal to look towards all the sides in the all area where they can find enough support and enough effective help beside India. Though India was there, but they were feeling the need to have more closer ties with other countries also. So they entered into diplomatic relations with number of countries, and they at the same time they strengthened their relations with United States of America to counter actions of a third country in their immediate neighborhood, if we understand this. So otherwise, see what happened next, because we all know that certain things were there. We know that immediately after Americans were again so much busy into the Europe and other regions of the world, and beside within another decade, by the end of 60s, Americans and Chinese, they were now having much closer relationship than what they were having in the late 50s. So closer ties between, or formal ties between, Chinese and Americans. Because of that, again America never find any much more interest in to invest, to engage Nepal. So as a result, what we find that from 50s to almost this first decade of 21st century, that is for almost 60 years, we find that though there was US aid to Nepal in the since 1951 in the form of point 4 programs, and there were some trade, there were certain imports from Nepal of handicraft or hats or gloves or something like this to America, and America was investing or providing aid to Nepal, but there was not much happening or any warmth or any greater interest or deep interaction or something like that worth mentioning as far as these two are concerned. And to the extent that no American president till date have visited Nepal. So keep that in mind. You may find mention of Jimmy Carter visiting Nepal, but he visited Nepal in the capacity of founder of Carter charity program foundation, not as president of United States of America. That we have to keep in mind. Only what we can say, primarily senior officers used to visit Nepal. And on the part of Nepal, though you would find mention of prime ministers or presidents or monarch or general of the army visiting America. See, keep into mind that America is an important country. It is seat to United Nations, and number of conferences and other international gatherings happening there, and many a time dignitaries from Nepal, they visit that country while attending those summit meet or those conferences or conventions, and it is only at the margin of those main events that sometime they get a chance to meet American president also. Keep that in mind. So you may find a big list of dignitaries from Nepal visiting United States of America during those decades, but that is not of much relevance. And why it is so, that I have explained just now. And it is only in the last decade, or to be very precise, since 2008, when normalcy came started there in Nepal. And when after Nepal, transitional phase of constitutional development started in Nepal, that we find certain changes, and major changes are there only since what we can say since this last earthquake of 2015. Because we find that in 2016, Nepal and America have entered into some trade agreement whereby duty free import from Nepal to America has become possible. And then we find that in 2017, Nepal has joined MCC, that is the Millennium Challenge Corporation program of United States of America, that aimed at providing aid to the poorest countries of the world. And these things, and even United States of America is providing great help in the restructuring, rebuilding of Nepal after the earthquake. And why these things are there, to understand this we have to keep in mind that since 2008 China is in Nepal everywhere. All in whether it is infrastructure segment, different sectors of infrastructure, or we can say education, health, connectivity, whatever you say, aid, trade, everywhere Chinese are not only making investment or in road, Chinese are there in big way. They are there. And it is essentially to counter China that these initiatives are being taken by United States of America. And why it is so, that I have already explained while discussing Nepal, UK, that primarily these initiatives are there, and we are finding newfound interest in Nepal because of the, what we can say, if we just analyze from the system perspective, that status quo is the those powers, the incumbent superpower, it is finding it challenging, it is finding it not welcoming that this revisionist power, though China don't claim to be revisionist power, but they are finding that this rising China, it is making inroad into new territories like South Asia, which was traditionally area of influence of India, and that is not just not welcomed by India. It is equally irritating for the United States of America also, because every gain by China increase the threat to United States of America. So they want to stop China at every front. They want to face China in every corner of the world, be it in the Himalaya or in Indo-Pacific, in Central Asia, in Africa. They want to stop China everywhere, including Nepal. So that we must keep into mind, and that is the essence of this analysis. Thank you so much.